Right now we have the suspension feeder set up for conventional envelopes. We have just been running number 10s. Now we're going to change over to remittance envelopes. Since remittance envelopes are out of the ordinary because of the small pile in the back, the large pile in the front, because of the flaps being open, it is necessary to change a couple parts on our machine. The parts we will be changing are these backstop rollers and the jogger arm. Now we are going to change over the conventional backstop rollers to the remittance backstop rollers. All we're going to do is loosen the screw on this side. Remove the roller. Then we're going to take the specially designed for remittance envelope backstop roller and we're going to secure it on there. Make sure it's straight up and down and all the way back in the slot. We will have to set these front to back before we can run. The only other thing we're going to have to change is the rear jogger. Since we put smaller rollers on there, we need a shorter jogger. Do not loosen the Phillips head screws on the jogger block because that will be a setting you will not have to change. So we're going to take the remittance envelope jogger assembly and screw it on. And once we get this set, you will not have to loosen the Phillips head screws on this either because that will be a fixed setting that you will not have to change. Okay, once we get that tight and straight up and down, we want to put some envelopes in our feeder. Right now I'm going to advance those envelopes so we can set the distance on the backstop rollers to get them even so they are directly across from each other. And that the jogger block is pushing the envelopes a little bit in front of the roller. So we'll let it come up till the eye shuts it off. Now what we're going to do is turn the feeder off. Put the jogger block all the way forward. You can just spin the cam to bring it forward. Push your envelopes again instead. And you'll want these rollers, once you are square, to be just about a 1/16 of an inch behind the flap of the envelope. So we will just set those there, lock it down. This side, just about a 1/16 of an inch behind the envelopes. That way both rollers should be perfectly lined up with each other, and this jogger block will be pushing the envelopes approximately a 1/16 of an inch in front of the rollers. The back of the envelope should not touch the rollers. The back of the envelope will come up and touch the backstop springs, which will hold them into register. Now that we have our rollers all set, we are going to adjust the eye. We do not want to read with our sensor on the flap of the envelope. We want to read it on the body of the envelope. And we may have to bring it down enough to get our stock level and a nice square pile up against the press. You'll have approximately 3/4 of an inch to an inch touching the front of the press. Now that we've changed over the setup for remittance envelopes, by putting smaller backstop rollers on and the shorter jogging arm will allow us to have a smaller pile at the front of the press. By having a smaller pile, it makes it more level than the big wedge that the remittance envelopes will make on their own. We have also moved the eye forward and lowered it to produce a smaller square pile at the front of the press, and at the back of the envelope the flaps should be just clearing the little rollers in the back and just lightly touching the backstop springs. And now that we have our backstop rollers, the jogger assembly and the sensor in the proper position, we're ready to roll it into the press. We'll roll it until our stand is securely touching the press. Lock our wheels. Now we're going to bring our envelope up to the front of the press by adjusting the length. Once we are up against the press, we're going to raise our stock up to the sheet separators. If one side is higher or lower, we will adjust those using our adjusting rails and turning the knobs here on the top. Right now we are set level. We'll turn the power on the machine, and now we will power up our press and begin to feed remittance envelopes.